Hey, happy day. So I always like starting off the week, either a Sunday or a Monday, by doing a weekly energy read, just as an idea of what I can expect generally in the collective when I got into the world, what energies I'm going to be connecting with, how to be more conscious and aware. And when I know whether things are going to be good or bad out there, I know how to adjust myself and what to be prepared for. So there's some exciting developments in this week's read, but we'll start with the past energy, which is the Five of Cups. So 5 for me is the midway point. It's halfway. It's 50% of 10 out of 10. So if 1 were a very unconscious state of being and 10 were the most conscious state of being, then this is like halfway between the two worlds. And Cups is about your feelings, your heart space, and your emotions. And this card is showing us, if you see this fellow, he looks a bit like the Hermit. The Hermit is dressed in the same way, with the same kind of disposition of looking down. It's perhaps a feeling, we see the black cloak, so it's perhaps a bit like feeling a dark night of the soul, and looking down at the ground and looking at the spilled cups and the spilled blood. What have we lost? What have our choices cost us? Yeah, so that's what we're facing. How have we failed? How have we been unsuccessful? Where are we looking down at ourselves? Perhaps, remember, this is past energy. We're coming out of this. So it also has to do with what shame and guilt are we dealing with and facing that shame and guilt. It's a little bit like addressing the shit. If there's a smell in the room and you check your feet to make sure it's not you who stood in dog shit, well, it is you who stood in dog shit, and now you have to deal with that dog shit on your shoe. And well, that is in the past energy, because it also had to do with, are you looking at where you failed, or are you looking at new opportunities, this gateway? Are you following your heart through this portal of love, so that there's the bridge? I talked about the rainbow bridge yesterday, and so it's like following your heart, and love is the bridge that will take you across the river to your hearth, your home, which really are the things that make you feel emotionally fulfilled. So that's the past energy, where we've been. And then if we look, we have number 6. So we are moving on. 6 for me is a bit like the birthing process. It's where we are conceptualizing. It's being incubation in the womb, where we are really being creative. It's that feminine aspect of pulling in order to, it's a bit like caving. Men would cave, and they do that in order to feel in wombs, because it makes them feel safe, all of us. But this card is Pentacles, so it has to do with our tangible assets and liabilities. So real life, how do we pay our bills? How do we, what are our resources that support our, this is current energy. So we're really looking honestly at the good and bad in our life, where we've been investing time and energy, and what the investment return value is on that. And so it reminds me of the karmic justice. So those who have been doing good will reap the rewards. Their pentacles will come in, and those who have taken more and given less will feel the effects of that. They will be looking at the scale of the feather of Mart, which has to do with the weight of your heart, how true you were in life. That's the Egyptian mythology. When you die, your heart will be measured against the feather of Mart, and your integrity will be you will account and atone for your sins. And so it's like fortune favors the bold, and about taking opportunities and exploring opportunities. Yellow, well, red is about base chakra, so roots and grounding. So groots, yeah, eat your groats. They're good for you. It's good food. And so it's being very conscious of being grounded in how you take action and you live your life in order to produce the pentacles, the currency that we need to exchange in this world, trade, goods, and actual financial value. And I love the yellow because that speaks to us of being confident in the decisions we're making, and the things we're plotting and planning should yield good results because we've learned from our lessons. Something about the star, it's like if you, oh yes, Da Vinci, you know, the Vitruvian Man, I think it's called, where there's that top part of the star is the head, there are your arms, and the two bottom ones are your legs, and then that center place is where we operate from, the heart, the gut, our willpower in life. So current energy. And then looking forward, this was the exciting thing. So the Wheel of Fortune, which had been in the present position 2 weeks ago, it shows us how looking forward, that energy is staying with us again. The wheel is turning, that karmic debt, you will reap the rewards. One of the things I noticed was the sword, and the bottom of the deck was the Ace of Swords. So it's almost like in order to benefit from the Wheel of Fortune going forward, it's like you have to cut through the bullshit, and it's pointing up to the Scorpio end, which is about death, rebirth, and transformation, and the phoenix rising out of the ashes. So it's pointing to that transformation, and it's the number 10, which we see we're at a crossroads. We know that we're at a crossroads. It really is crunch time. Remember, in astrological terms, the time, man's time is relative. So this is something I really resonate with. I don't work on the 24-hour clock and the Gregorian calendar. I work with sunrise, sunset, seasons more than I work with man time. And what I notice is how much people work with man time and how much time is lost in that process, and a complete disregard for how much you can fit into such a small space of time, and then again how long other things take to brew. And it's like all these changes have been building up for a long time, and the crunch time feels, the pressure's been feeling intense for a little while, but it's righty-tighty or lefty-loosey. So yes, which way is your wheel turning? Are you righty-tightening it, or are you lefty-loosening it? Which way do you need to turn the dial in order to amplify a better result? And I showed you the insight card we got was the bottom of the deck. So how do we ground ourselves? And it's with clarity of thought and very much realizing how you are the queen or the king, the god or the goddess. And I've had a lot of contemplation recently on about how we present ourselves. And I have spoken about the superficial presentation versus really doing the real surgeries on our inside, our character and our personality. And I'm noticing this thing of how we present ourselves is what we want people to see, and the words we use, we can sell people on who we are through the words we use. But ultimately, and what I notice through children and parenting and raising a child, is they don't give a fuck for what you say. They're watching you and watching what you do, and they will project that back at you. So it's about leading by example. You don't need to tell someone how to be a good Christian. You need to show them in the being, and that will automatically attract them to want to be that. So whatever it is you are trying to be, or sell the world on what you are, stop. It doesn't work. People don't buy into it because all you're doing is trying to convince yourself. When you are being who and what you are, you tell the world that, and they either buy into that or they don't. And it's the best and most authentic way to understand or attract your tribe and the people who will value what you have to offer and will find worth in the energy that you share with them. So that was very curious. And then my curiosity, I was like, okay, so we know what the South Star message is, have clarity of thought, and the South Star is currently in Scorpio. So in the same way that the sword is pointing to Scorpio, so too we know that we are in a process of rebirth, that caterpillar crystallization stage. So I was like, okay, well then where's the North Star in? And the top of the deck, the world, which is beautiful, because if you look at it, kind of is a lovelier version. This talks like, look at the red. So again, it talks about if we're experiencing karmic justice, it's quite angry, and Mercury is in retrograde, so communications messing up, and we can get frustrated and confused, and things just don't make sense. So that's in order to temper that, we can see how we are the center of our own universe. And there again, we have, in the same way the Wheel of Fortune has in both cards. So what you have in the top right corner is the Aquarius. These are all the fixed signs of the zodiac. So you have Aquarius, the knowledge, and then you've got Taurus, the bull. That's the earth, the grounding. And Taurus is currently in the north node of the moon. So it's about finding stability in our lives and security. And even though our lives might be simple, they're more comfortable and more manageable. And we're able to focus on that and really ground it and build on that. And then in the bottom left corner, we have Leo. So that's the fire. That sparks. It's the power again, the willpower, and again the ego. The will does center around you, centered around you in your own world, not the rest of the world. So you make your world about you. You don't make the world about you. When you go out into the world, you have to become a part of that world, and that's where you have to learn to shapeshift. Who you are. You never give up who you are, but you learn to compromise with that in order to be able to meet others where they're at. And then up here in this corner, top left corner, we've got that Scorpio energy of transformation. So I love that confirmation. And then to finish off, I checked in with the Crystal Alley cards. I haven't used them for a while, for about a year, until last week, and then I was reminded about how much I enjoy them. And this is an earth element, so it fits in with that needing to, it's a pentacle, it resonates with the pentacles, and with needing to ground ourselves in that Taurus energy, so the Dharma energy. And it's about beginnings, which is what the Wheel of Fortune tells us about. And I watch various other tarot readers. I love to see what they are picking up in the collective energies. And there's one who always says this word as big innings. And I actually love that, because it's like we're begging an innings in cricket. So it's like we're batting, and in our batting we're begging, hoping to get an innings or some innings. So I love that it always comes to my mind. And I'll read quickly to you what it says about from the Crystal Alley card book. Petrified wood, beginnings. Under the roots of an ancient grandmother tree is the source of the universe. This is the image of beginnings. Petrified wood is a mineral, usually agate, that has replaced the wood of ancient fossilized trees, retaining their shape, texture, and even their growth ring pattern. Trees are the chieftains of the plant kingdom, towering above the earth with their roots sunk deeply into the ground. And we know that when we do grounding exercises with our base chakra, we imagine pushing our roots out into the ground. Trees sing to the wind and the sun, and learn much of other beings by offering them shelter, food, and safety. Trees symbolize the deep and ancient beginnings of all things. On their earth walk, they learn much of the beginnings and endings within the spiral of life. So the wheel of fortune, the world, because we know the world rotates, and not only does it rotate, but it is in a cycle with other planets. And I love that. So there's your other planets. They grow from the seeds of their forefathers, and I talk a lot about seed of pure potentiality, and fertilize their children with their bodies when they depart. When trees become fossilized and have turned to stone, the knowledge and understanding of these beings is preserved in the energy patterning of the stone that has taken their form. All of us have our roots or beginnings. When we become incarnate and enter the physical world, we choose our parents, our culture, and the ancient memories of our ancestors that will be stored in the DNA of our bodies, as will our traumas through those choices. It is with these choices that we form the basis of our physical experience. The energy of petrified wood enables us to access those beginnings, which are stored on a cellular level, and draw strength and knowledge from our ancestors and our lineage. By exploring the roots and beginnings of our bodies and cultures, we can empower ourselves through the ancient codings of instinct and intuition. We can speak to those who went before and gain wisdom from them. Delving into these ancient cellular memories allows us to move forward as well. We are the forefront of a new civilization on Earth. By utilizing the memories of our people, we can integrate the lessons that they learned and avoid the mistakes that were made in the past. So I have talked about that too. It's about becoming aware of what we're perpetuating. And in order to change things, we need to not continue with cycles, but disrupt them and actually put things on a new course. And I'm quite attached to the idea of traditional, there's a reason why traditional approaches work, or traditional and ancient methodology, certainly with healing is what I'm keeping in mind. Reflexology, aromatherapy, massage, the skills that I'm prefer to perform are all very ancient. My job is to bring them to you in a modern way that makes them accessible and negates all the oldie, cobwebby stuff out of it. I want people to get excited about all the beautiful ancient healing modalities that exist and use them. Don't allow religion and false prophets and ideologies to block your path to healing, and use all these tools, especially nature. Nature has the best healing tools. So nature. Delving, this is a time for all people to come together in peace and harmony, Rainbow Bridge, without regard to race, color, religions, or beliefs. As we move forward into this time of harmony and light, we will find the ancient roots that are common to all. Again, we basically, if we were Neanderthal beings, our needs are simple. We need food, water, shelter in the form of a roof over our heads, and clothing against the elements. And we need rest. We need to consume, take in, and we need to eliminate. Pretty much. Eat your ass and poop and rest. So it's that simple. The rest is about want, and want needs to be tempered for its urgency of lust, desire, and greed, and carnal, lower devilish energies, as we see there. Do you wish to operate in that realm, or do you wish to operate in your higher realm? With the understanding of these ancient tribal ways, we can create a touchstone, a place of common ground that we can use to build a new life together on the planet Ubuntu. By seeing where we have come from, we are able to move into a brighter future and towards a new day of honoring the earth and each other. And I love how that resonates with the message I had about the rainbow again. I think it's more important for us to be united in the common cause of doing what's best for this planet, more than it is about protecting our religious interests, our cultural interests, our language interests, our gender interests, etc., etc. I think we're being pulled away from what's really important, which is the preservation of this planet, our Garden of Eden. The message. Petrified Wood has come with its message of roots and beginnings to remind you of the knowledge that you carry deep within yourself. By accessing this knowledge, you can gain a deeper understanding of yourself and your path. And I'm noticing a lot of projection of people being confused about who they are and what they're supposed to be doing. And it's not complicated. Do what you love and find a way to bridge the gap between what you do and what people want and need. You can find new ways of relating with the other beings with whom you share your world, no matter what their kingdom. Shape-shifting. And the only way you can learn to shape-shift is when you have some empathy, which means understanding another's experience, another's presentation and expression of themselves through tolerance and compassion. It's about changing yourself. If you have issue or take issue with others, it is not their problem. It's got nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with you and how intolerant you are and how little you wish or how little you accept yourself. Perhaps you need to tap into